put Fusion University away, we're headed to the moon, which is oddly familiar right now with where we've been casting.
Absolutely. You gotta say, this venue has been fantastic. It does literally, when we first saw the pictures, we were like, this is basically Horizon Lunar Colony. It's what makes it so fun. So it's quite apt, maybe, that the journey ends here.
Well, the journey very well could end, which would mean that the Hurricane would not only go home as the champions of EU, but also have some bragging rights to last at least until Contenders Season 2, where the NA side would have some time to either, well, adapt and learn the counters of Quad Tank, or, in the worst timeline, use Quad Tank.
Well, we've seen some whisperings of it this weekend, right? A few scrims against some EU teams, it caused some inspiration. Now we've got to see it be really cemented in the meta. Imagine, in the world that we live in, if it turned into NA contenders playing a lot of Quad Tank and that then bubbled its way up into the Overwatch League. Could you imagine?
I mean, if you want to take responsibility for that complete devastation, then yes. Well done.
Maybe London Spitfire take some inspiration from Hurricane and go, hey, this actually works quite well. Let's see if we can beat the meta breakers in Overwatch League and bring something new to the table.
Well, I'm not ready for that storyline. Of course, Brigida might have a bit to say about that anyways. But guys, we're here and now. We are here on Alvernia Planet, and the British Hurricane looking to finish off Fusion University here and now.
Once again, rocking out with that Quad Tank University, going again outbound towards the Anna. We've seen him play it very well. Going for the, let's call this the Giganti strategy, just giving us a moment of peace outside, peace in our time, as everyone ventures outside. Of course, not much air out there, so they won't want to stay outside too long, but let's see how they can make it happen when they come and try and breach onto this point.
Space, no one can hear you when you get hooked into a roadhog. That's what they try and say, and British Hurricane able to easily saunter onto the point. Fusion did not do much to actually cut them off at the pass here. Hurricane, they're nice and healed up here. Bach is in the back, and Who Are You is down. The major threat that could have derailed this out of the fight, and the Hurricane might be rolling their way to a very easy first point take.
If Fusion University can dance around for long enough, Zachary's not too far away from this EMP, but that's two members now down. Beast Halo, or Feast Halo as we've taken to calling him, being picked up, and the rest of Hurricane will roll through. Zachary does get the DMech, but his team have been wiped out.
You know, I wanted off this ride, and this ride is seemingly speeding up because that was a ridiculously fast take for the Hurricane. Fusion University just did not have the answer to that Quad Tank setup.
7 minutes of potential torture coming through for you here, ZP. Looking at the ultimates online, there's more currently going for Fusion University, it feels. You've got to say with Quad Tank, there is a lot of health there to be depleted to feed the ult charge of the enemy team. So Fusion University can keep on playing and just making these fights last a little bit longer. If Zachary can get these EMPs online, they have a very perfect opportunity to shut down Hurricane and start winning some fights.
I'm hoping for the 7 minutes of torture. That means Fusion would have held here in this case. A hack, though, on the half cool early on, going to limit his mobility, and Fusion get a much better engage here, fueled by Crackalack, and get him right into the back.
An excellent ult usage as well. They only had to use the one. The EMP was enough for them to win this fight and send Hurricane packing, and they've got 4 ultimates online, including that nano boost if required.
A little bit of cleanup by Fusion there at the end, and Hurricane will be back to the drawing board, and that might have been the last ride for the Quad Tank here. They're showing the signs of swapping off, although it does look like Craig at the very least will wait till the Graviton.
I imagine this goes to the 3-1, which we've seen out of them quite a few times previously, where they had Kib on the Genji, for example, on Numbani, whilst the rest of the team ran tank. They just try and make use of the Sombra to go for the real tank buster, or the setup buster, as you might call it, on the side of Fusion University.
Bach, under pressure, backs off, Coalescence loaded. Likely going to be using this to aid Fusions here in just a moment. It's their main support ult, and they're going to use it. The Coalescence here in the beginning. The barrier built up right after. Self-destruct hitting in, doesn't connect with much. Meanwhile, Fusion's holding on to the Earth Shatter. Craggy has the Graviton, but the Earth Shatter connects with nothing. Absolutely nada. You see the Graviton coming late, also not going to pick up anything. So the ults of the Hurricane, tank line, not doing what they want here. And yet the Nano Boost and Crackalacken just being a wall, taking down 2, Zachary in off the flank, and the Hurricane now might want to consider swapping things up.
There we go, as that fight kind of dragged on a little bit. Fusion University found the space they were after. It was a bit scary when you saw Crusade bring out the sound barrier and you had shield charged tanks tear towards you, but they're looking towards Kib right now. Kib is 15% away from having that EMP, and we've already seen what Zachary can do with EMPs on this map. They can mix things up and try and get a big playoff. They've got that bomb combo from Happy Cool and Kib. That could be their win condition.
I think you're right here, where they would be looking for that EMP directly in the self-destruct. But if Fusion backs away, plays the train to their advantage, they won't give them that setup because they're not clumping up the way that team running heavy tanks would. Nice sleep early on coming from Elk on the back line, and you see Who Are You? Laying damage in the back, Pulse Bomb, gonna miss. and yet it might not matter for this fight. It's a late EMP coming out here from Kib, but Fusion University able to stand most of the worst of it. Yes, who are you and Crackalakin are down, but they still have 4 up and looking to alarm. About to get Transcendence up in fight. He's probably going to use it immediately here and does. Rolls onto the point, and now Fusion can stabilize, and that's a May on the field.
We've got the May on the field as well to try and trap some of the Hurricane in, but it's not going to work out as Beast Halo will get dropped down. Out comes the grab, trying to catch in several members. They even managed to bring down Zachary.
And the big part there, Beast Halo wasn't able to primal range before he got picked off. He thought he was safe, he wasn't. Hurricane off of those tank ults, now starting to pry things open. They have 1 tick, they're going for more. 2 ticks, soon to be in their future. Beast Halo though, drops onto the point. Primal range up, needs to stay on the point, otherwise they'll get the tick for free as he's bouncing in and around. But he chased down Kib. They haven't given up the second tick. They get back on just in time, and Fusion might be holding on yet.
It may well just be. The longer these fights are going on, the more it's starting to come in favor, because one of those fire grenades landing down just gives the Fusion University so much time to pile in and deal with the British Hurricane setup while they don't have enough heals.
And that was so close for the Hurricane. You take a look at the progress, 64.9%, a mere percent and a point away from getting that. Fusion barely dodging that one.
Now it's got the Nano Boost online again, and we've seen him use it once earlier on. It was onto Crackalakin, expected it to be Beast Halo, but clearly thinking the dealer there had more opportunity to make something happen off the back of the grab. So maybe now we're trying to ride on summer once again for British Hurricane to make use of Kib's EMP. It has just come online, but he's gone.
Kib out of the fight immediately, and now you see Fusion University getting a little bit of their swagger back, diving on in. Who are you? Already deep into the back line, looking the D McAfee, the Hurricane, split up right now. Yes, they have 2 support ults, but do you really want to use this while down Kib? But they're waiting. They're waiting for Kib to come back in. This could turn their favor if he gets a good EMP.
Double support ults online for both sides as well, so actually quite a lot of defensive power here. It just depends, like you say, on whether or not that EMP comes out big. Happy going to take a very, very quick nap before the action continues once again. They're going to chase down Beast Halo here, but the hack is going to stop him getting finished off.
Hurricane playing it slow right now. Kib dropped the EMP in the back. Now they're going to try moving in the other side. I'm not sure the EMP did enough though. Beast Halo feels the rage, feels the power. Nano boosted in, making room here, disrupting the Hurricane, and yet not killing them. The Hurricane's still really healthy. Craggy builds up the grab top mid-fight, drops the beat. Where's the grab? Self-destruct in the back. Fusions blocks it, and the grab comes in. The Hurricane playing this masterfully here so far. Alarm. The late Transcendence doesn't quite save it. University still trying to fight this back. Who are you in the flank? Looking for Craggy. Healed up though. Bach is all over him, and the Hurricane now looking for another tick.
Still finding it so hard because Fusion University are so mobile. They are rejoining this fight in rapid time, and there is no way that Hurricane can win these fights against them twice. Quad Tank is very good for its initial taking of points and that initial fight that you get into, but if you have to fight the same team twice, chances are you aren't going to be able to kill them all.
Are you saying a wheel is coming off the bus for this one last ride?
Quite possibly. Although I would never say it's fully Quad Tank, because we do of course have Kib on the Sombra, so our record for Quad Tank remains intact.
For the first point, but they did play it in this map, and right now Fusion showing some new life, might be able to bring this matchup a little bit more in contest. Meanwhile, Bach, Pollitt up, the crowd getting pumped for the Hurricane, the EU representatives, but what a bio-nade! Oh my goodness, where's your healing now? Kib though drops the EMP, limiting the damage, and they turn what could have been a bounty into disaster as the Hurricane fight on through. Doesn't matter that Elk hit that because Kib gets a cleanup and more.
Where's your healing now? Well, there's no need for the healing as Hurricane do manage to complete. It takes them a solid 6.5 minutes, but Fusion University have got a mountain ahead of them.
Legend has it that Elk looked to the side and said, team? Because that was a very nice bio-nade.
It was a very nice bio-nade. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough for them to be able to clean up and do away with the Hurricane one more time, because if they won that fight, chances are Hurricane would have had a very rushed final push to try and take that second point away, but didn't find themselves with the opportunity, or with the need, I should say. There was no reason for them to have to push again because, well, we saw exactly what happened. They managed to wipe out Fusion University, and they claimed that second point.
Now we get to see if Fusion University can reclaim their former glory here, because that was a very respectable defense. They drained all time but 36 seconds, and we've seen Fusion set lightning fast times on this map. Meanwhile, we look to what Hurricane is playing here, and Hurricane might have gone off their own wild ride. They're running a defense here that's a little bit more standard, where I think they feel there's blood in the water and they want to put Fusion away now.
Absolutely, and Bach was seeing him going across onto the Ana, and we said Elk was the big guy from NA who plays Ana, and on our side of the pond, well, you've got Bach and his Ana. He is the Doc playing Ana. Let's see what he can make see how he can make this one work out for them. We already saw in the first round, let's not forget though, on Ilios, they didn't really fare too well in the matchup compositions when we saw the Sunbracer coming back up against Fusion. Well, it didn't end so well for EU, so maybe there is some light at the end of this tunnel for Fusion University.
You know, I do feel like there's some hint synergy there where you become a medical doctor in real life and you go, I want to support people in video games. Why stop people from dying in real life when I can stop them from dying in my video game competitions? It's
This
like, hey,
guy is just out to save the world. What do you say? What grand global ambition he's got?
I mean, what if this is sort of a Ready Player One type situation or, you know, reboot where people are actually, like, inside the game, these people are real. He's saving real lives. We just don't even know it.
I'm giving esports a bad name. I haven't yet seen that film. I need to see it.
One day, but the crowd getting pumped. They want to see a big hold here from the British Hurricane. See just how they can manage it here. Fusion University coming out with the Sombra Tracer setup where expect to see Zachary where you go on the side, but the pressure already mounting on these flankers.
Nacional's trying to get in there and cause some havoc, especially on Craggy. We all know he's quite a proficient Tracer, but you've got to worry about Kib on the Sombra as well.
Kib getting that early kill on the Zachary, and that just delays things for Fusion, where they want to come in lightning fast, and instead they have to wait. Who are you even has to wait for the top off here in the moment. But now, Fusion University gets to go again.
He's looking towards who gets that nano boost online first, because that could be the big opportunity for one of the two Winstons to jump in and go to town on the enemy backline. Of course, got to be very wary of those sleep darts, mind you. It's been a long time since we've seen a big Animeta. And there we go. Kraken Lakin and Beast Sailor both trying to get into the back line. Not really with too much healing on their backs, though. They're not going to find themselves able to hang around for too long.
Beast Sailor was able to get away, though. He's still alive. Who are you? Under pressure, rewinds just in time. Fusion on the way back in, and he got Fusions! Killing his doppelganger of his team, as it were, if it wasn't confusing enough, as Kraken comes in on the top. The double take of Fusion, reuniting here over and on, as Who Are You decimates the backline, Crusades out of there, and the Fusion looking to take this first point.
You definitely can't contest that Fusion's dive is looking very, very good against British Hurricane, almost at the stage that maybe there's some learning to be done for both teams here. NA looking at these tank-based competitions and saying, we've got something we can take away from this. And for Hurricane, well, they are quite consistently losing fights against this dive setup from Fusion.
So I have to ask you, and this is very early to be building this narrative, but I like gambling right now. Let me ask you this, does Tridd feel fear? Does he feel the turnaround that might be happening here as Fusion has gotten first point quickly 6 minutes ago to set a better time?
Tridd fears no man, but I think everyone in EU fears Alarm at this stage. We've seen what this guy can do all day. We've seen the heads he's taken off. Even Craggy said, I do not fancy facing that guy in a 1v1, and you can understand why.
Well, Zachary gets taken down here. Even though he got Crusade, they had that suicide pact towards the very end, and that works out in favor of the defense. Trade outs always better for the defense in these situations, and oh my goodness, Alarm going to be investing the Transcendence here. Don't think that was a good move, and yet they get more 2 more pickoffs. Might work. Craggy in trouble, barely able to rewind away, but rewinds away that he DMX Kraklaken, and that should be enough for the Hurricane. Respawn's coming out, and Craggy, the immortal, the Highlander, as it were, fears no man.
This is like a game of see how long you can keep a 150 HP hero alive for, and the answer seems to be for Hurricane is a long time. And look at their ult bar. This is probably the first time in all of Contenders all weekend we have seen all 6 ultimates online for a team.
Wow, you are not wrong. That is one fully loaded war chest for the Hurricane. They can manage it well. They can burn a lot of time off this clock.
Let's see what they're trying to do there. Fusion going to try and make it work. They're switching Zachary over to the McCree, and we saw what he could do earlier on. He's already got hold of Craggy.
Well, that's about all he's going to do as he meets Steve in a dark alley, and last thing he heard was, hiya, and down he went.
Well, Happy New Year.
Happy something, where I don't know if he wants to stick on this McCree. I mean, they did do it earlier on today, so I do think this is Fusion's main plan here, but time is quickly passing them by.
It's a tough one, but I think trying to change things up is always a wise idea. If what you're trying doesn't work, then just change things out and try something different. But for Hurricane, they too have noticed the change coming out of University, and they put Kib across onto Genji.
Meanwhile, Nano Boost on early, but Who Are You's taken down. Crusade caught him on the flip side, and that is the signal to go. You just see the dive coming in from the Hurricane, and they make this push a non-starter for the Fusion University.
They do at least manage to review them for at least a short amount of time here, but Hurricane is still holding on to so many of these ultimates, yet consistently winning fights. We're down to halfway into the time bank ZP. There's 4 minutes to go for Hurricane to hold out to claim this series 3-0.
The weird thing is that 4 minutes is a lot of time. You should be, yeah, that's fine. The way this match is going right now, doesn't feel fine even remotely. Hurricane, they're in total control.
You probably need a good 20 minutes, I think, to be able to close this one out with the way that Hurricane are playing so far. Like I said, they're investing next to no ultimates in these fights, yet still consistently winning.
It's really good ult management for them. It's good self-control, and it's making Fusion fight tooth and nail for any advantage they want to get right now. And disengage. Oh, they got Bach. Alarm opens the door. Now's the time to make British Hurricane spend some of that cash. And we'll see if they do it here. Fusion University moving on in. Craggy off to the side, under pressure from Who Are You? The Tracer v Tracer battle just taking place over net. We see Craggy now looking for Crackalacken. He's getting healed. He's dealing with the Tracer pressure, but he's still going to get demeched. Uses the self-destruct though. Zones out Craggy. Should be able to repack. And Fusion out their best opportunity they've had all map long. But here's Kib, and he has a blade.
Zachary's got out as well, his own ultimate, trying to find a target, but there is no one to be found. Here comes Kib with a nano-boosted blade of his own.
Blade to the back, looking for Elk. Elk goes, see ya, dashes the other way. Alarm goes, you don't have a blade for long enough, and chases Kib off. Meanwhile, on the point, it's Fusion's making room with Craggy. It didn't matter in the end. The blade was merely a distraction.
That whole time it was ticking over, that they've managed to find themselves 2 ticks onto this final point, so only one more fight. That's all they need to do and take this point away from Hurricane to force us into another overtime round. But like you say, it's definitely been a slog trying to get to this stage so far.
And the problem here is that unless Alarm is able to get another pick off like he did, or Who Are You can find Crusade, they don't have much of an edge here. They're going to have to waste about a fight or two to get a good time, and that's going to mean they will essentially have time be done. Still, you see Fusion moving in, looking for the opportunity. A Bionade in from downtown. Bach going, I can play on it too. And Zachary, unable to be healed, simply gone.
He was there 1 second, the next, poof. No idea what happened to him. Of course we know what happened. He got melted. It seems to be the recurring theme coming through for Fusion University. Now down to 2 minutes. That half time we had 2 minutes ago, that's been halved yet again. And Hurricane, they're probably feeling pretty confident. They've got Crusade, but that is the only ultimate they have online. Everything else has been burnt. But Bach on fire is about to have that nano boost back online. And Kib, look at that blade.
A minute 40 left, and supporters of NA, you might need a miracle right now. I know I'm wishing for one, but my wishes are rarely answered. Let me tell you that. Sometimes live a sad life. Fusion University, though, looking for their opportunity here. A minute 30 left. Fusion's going to be taken down, but it's a Winston trade that's still fighting for the hurricane. But Who Are You on the other side? Now starting to open the door. Zachary looking for Kib, just in one more shot. The res is back up. Fusion trying to make the most. A minute 15 left.
It was the nano boost to the blade, though. It's going to be Kib trying to get into the back line, but instantly denied by Alarm. Still manages to get Zachary even through that one, but cannot catch up to the Mercy.
Not quite enough. Kib, on the other hand, off the save here. Going to be pushing Fusion back one more time. Fusion University 1 minute away from bragging rights for EU.
At least until next season. This needs to be a thing that we pass over every single time we have these Contenders playoffs.
British Hurricane looking very good right now. Fusion University on the ropes.
Kind of what you come to expect, but they've got a few ults online at very least. They've got that pulse bomb, and we've seen these fight-changing pulse bombs come out of so many players, both in Contenders and Overwatch League, and we always speak about the space denial that self-destruct can give. Now that Craggy is gone, that is the edge from Hurricane gone.
And they have to take advantage of it. This is the final opportunity they'll get. They need one tick. 25 seconds left on the clock. Fusion University moving in. They got Bach. Who Are You connected with the pulse bomb on the other side? And Crackalacken, he's got a bigger payload here. Has a self-destruct ready, and he's just going to drop in the payload. Where are you going to go? You're going nowhere! Blown up! Craggy, though, had something to say. Got to on the other side. Fusion, final opportunities. The res is up, and we still have a match.
Only just. And it took the full time duration to make it work with just a few seconds left over. 1 minute 30 in the time bank for British Hurricane and 1 minute for Fusion. This is it, ZP. It comes down to one more round.
Well, that is appropriate for a series that has been defined by the phrase one last ride. So either way, we'll see how this works. This is the beginning of a comeback where Fusion gets to reunite with their long lost love, the number 5. Or is this merely a stomping where EU will be looking to this match for months yet to come?
I think regardless of the outcome, both teams have to look back at this because there is so much to learn for both regions. And yes, they've been scrimming and getting that learning over the last few days. But in this kind of situation, both teams, the two champions of each region. Imagine the information that you take away from this if you aren't one of those top two teams. You can look at this and see what they've been playing, what both teams have been playing, what you can learn to potentially try and expose weaknesses in the Hurricane setup from a team that plays something completely different to the style that you're used to.
If nothing else, it is a lesson in versatility training where regardless of your thoughts on how viable this is, whether you're cross-referencing OWL or not, it does mean that you gotta be prepared for anything depending on the circumstance, and that's a lesson that might not be taught at Fusion University.
Maybe they need to revise the syllabus at Fusion University, because clearly what they're teaching ain't good enough to bring down the Hurricane this time round, but maybe, just maybe, in these final 60 seconds, they can make it happen. Let's find out as they go for the matching comps, once again going towards that Sombracer dive.
Fusion University moving toward the crowd, clearly behind the Hurricane here. Now we'll see. Who Are You and Zachary beginning their approach here. Craggy checking Who Are You and Everymon. Oh my goodness, Bach almost put Who Are You in the grave. The honor pressure from over the top of Who Are You finds his place at the point. Progress now being made. He's going to draw people back. He has to dash back and up. Nope, no help there. It's been hacked.
No mega for you today, my friend. Try and find another one. Well, Hurricane still holding the high ground. We saw them do this for most of the last round. The superior dive did come out of Fusion in this exact style, and they managed to push Hurricane back and take the point.
And here's the thing, Hurricane signing back, and oh, Craggy got picked off. Now Fusion University, they're gonna rotate over to the point. This is the opening they were waiting for. Hurricane, they have to fight this. What a bio name! Anna versus Anna, Elk rising high, and Fusion University getting some sorely needed momentum.
Who needs DPS when your supports can bring down half of the enemy team and win you the first point? That is big work coming out of both Elk and Alarm, and they've got the Nano Boost to roll with alongside the Primal Rage about to come online for Beast Halo.
30 seconds.
Fusion University, 30 seconds left here, but they can make a big impact now. Elk, the Nano Boost is ready. Who does he put it on here? Likely Beast Halo.
They're going to try and go for this final push, and it took them a good 6 minutes last time round. It's going to be a big tall order, but if they can make it work, it's now.
Oh, gets Crusade immediately with the aid of Zachary. What a coordinated dive in from Fusion. And Beast Halo might not be done yet. Laying down the electricity. Needs the Primal Rage at the right time, and does. Buys up plenty of time here from Fusion. They're looking for one magical tick here on the point. Even just one would be big. They don't have it yet, but the self-destruct makes the room. There's the tick, 44%, and they're not done yet. The Hurricane might be weakening before our eyes. The wind's just not quite strong enough. And Fusion University, unchecked momentum here when it matters most.
Still trying to fight their way back on here. Hurricane are panicking as all of Fusion University are bringing down these key members. Out comes the double support ultimate once again.
Really working out here for the University. They're close to the second tick, and it piles on. Elk being a DPS support at the same time. Beast Halo stomping his way on in, and that Transcendence goes over, and so does Crusade's life. British Hurricane on the wall here, and the Fusion, they're not done yet.
That's the last thing I expected to see with 20 seconds on the clock is for them to take away that second point. But Hurricane found themselves getting caught out. And I've got to say, that whole round, you have to give over to the impact of Elk. The number of times he was in that kill feed was insane.
Elk had a ridiculous round there, and I mean, look, it's been a good day for Elk to begin with. We brought him up plenty of times on cast where he's had great positioning, rarely picked off early, but sometimes you gotta take matters into your own hands and just go, I will kill the entire other team. I've learned from Alarm, he won't take the spotlight from me anymore.
I've got to say, two very scary support players for Fusion University, but you know what else is scary, ZP? The thing of your nightmares? All you got to look at is the lineup that British Hurricane are currently considering to try and show once more why EU loves these tank-based compositions.
You know, you're saying that jokingly, but when I look back 2 weeks from now, I wonder why I haven't had a good night's sleep in that same time period. It's going to be this comment. It's going to be looking at this wall of beefiness from the British Hurricane. Can't handle this, man. It's like walking into a Weatherspoons at 2 a.m. and looking for a bad time. That's all I'm seeing right now.
Oh, it's so terrifying. I was saying to Tridd when we were sat in the side room earlier on, it's scary enough when you have a D.Va just flying directly at you and micro missiles firing away. When you have 4 tanks being sped boost by a Lucio, that's truly the definition of fear.
I'm feeling the fear right now. I will tell you that much. It is going to be a long rest of the night if Fusion drops us here. But Fusion, a little bit trickiness of their own. Look where Elk is right now. Oh, no.
Oh,
no. That was not good. Elk is still alive, but probably not for long. The trickiness ends up in disaster. The world's easiest first point take, likely on the way for the Hurricane. You cannot fool these men.
I can understand the creativity being brought here, but you just can't outfool a composition that plays together as a group unit. If you can catch one man in a three-man situation like Fusion were going for, then great. Maybe they didn't expect this full quad tank to come out, but here it is, and Hurricane are rolling over this first point.
All I gotta say is Twitch chat makes enough NA brain memes to begin with without that happening. Like, guys, come on, you just like, they'll never expect us to put the Ana in a corner directly at them.
Directly on the path where the quad tank is going to proceed and clear and get their way towards this second point. They've now got 1 minute and 5 seconds to clear out this point, and they're looking towards those tank ultimates to come online to make this happen.
This is a big moment for the Hurricane where they can match the second take that Fusion just had. They have momentum on their side, a Coalescence ready to go. However, the Fusion University, they do have the EMP. So Zachary, truly the one to watch here. He's gonna wait for them to turn around the side and drop down like Batman with a special device. There they are. Where's Zachary? Not going here just yet. He's waiting. Crouching Dragon, hidden Sombra. Doesn't even work, but the EMP does. Drops it down in the moment. There's the pulse bomb, and it's doing enough damage here. British Hurricane super low, and they're just not able to sustain.
Looks like this might be going to fall back, but anyway, ZP, there is 20 seconds left on the clock, and it's such a shame because look at all the ultimates on the side of British Hurricane. They might not even get the opportunity to use them.
No, they're not, because there's travel time involved here. Their tanks are not particularly fast. Yeah, you can speed boost here towards the end, but is it going to be enough? Fusion gets hacked. You can't even charge onto the point. But now, they charge. Speeding on in. They're going to have to eat a lot of damage early on, but the Coalescence backs it up. Hammer down. Beast Halo was raging, now sent to the other side, but he's pretty tanky. Feeling it, moving around as he gets juggled by Kim. Beast Halo takes a whole load of buckshot there as the Hurricane come in style once more.
They've managed to make it work thanks to the speed boost coming out of Crusade, but this is the final door opportunity now. They're finding themselves caught in the middle of this surge. Alarms, Transcendence runs out, and this could be the opportunity for Hurricane to take it through all the way.
The Transcendence did enough though, and bought enough time. Respawns are coming back in for Fusion. Elk and Beast Halo doing work as Elk once more pops off on Ana. Kill after kill coming in from that support in the back. Who are you? Well supported here, and the Fusion take their first map of the series. My goodness, this series not over yet. The NAEU battle continues.
We always make reference to that ride. We never really stated what the ride was. In this case, it's a bit of a roller coaster, going 2 maps up to British Hurricane to begin with, and then Fusion University finally turning around and at least give you something to go home with.
Well, look, if it's a roller coaster, it explains why I basically threw up my lunch in between the break. But hey, things are all good right now, and things might be a little bit sunny. I heard the last part of the ride was actually pretty pleasant.
Seems to be that way so far, but have faith, my EU brethren. This is not over yet. We have more maps to come, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring out on the next one. Not quite sure we'll be going yet. Could be Junkertown, in which case you'll get the Hurricane Special.
Well, the Hurricane Special, we'll just have to see what that is. But guys, the show match, it's not over yet. We got map 4 coming at you, but it's after the break. Historically, it took some time to defy Imperial rule, and history might be repeating itself here once more as the Fusion look to write a new Declaration of Independence, fighting back right now against the British Hurricane.
Just got to remind you guys, this is where everything began, it's where it's end. We are the circle of life, and we are going to remind you guys exactly what it means to play real Overwatch. You're going to see more quad tank, I have absolutely no doubt in my mind, and to be honest with you, I'm fully expecting this to go to Junkertown next.
And you call this real Overwatch, and that is a grim reality, my friend, but I do think Junkertown is where we might be going. Let's see if you're right, and it is! We're going to Australia after it got nuked. They nuked themselves.
Yeah, quite ironically leaving EU to go and show you guys how to play tanks once again. But hey, Junkertown is Hurricane's go-to map. We spoke about it earlier on in their grand final, and we were speaking about saying they're not really the team that goes to something like Dorado. They will always pick Junkertown if they have the option, I suppose you could say. And in this case, they've got the option. They lost the last map. It's all a ruse, my friend. They gave that last map to Fusion so they could show them just how to play Junkertown.
Oh, really? So the entire thing was to give false confidence, where you want to...
Absolutely. You guys live off your hopes and dreams. We've got to give you something to ride on, right?
Well, you know what? I think our hopes and dreams have somewhere to go here. Might be a little bit of underestimation, or maybe this is wishful thinking on my part, because let me tell you, reverse sweeps don't happen all that often, and yet, the same note, the Fusion do have an uncanny attachment to the number 5.
They do. I believe they were one of the teams that went 3-2 through pretty much most of the regular season, giving you guys a real good show every single time it came around to casting them. Maybe they're in for the same thing here. Maybe they're the ones who've been holding back since the very, very start, just to say, let's give the Europeans a bit of hope, and then we'll show them exactly how we play dive here in NA.
You know what? I can get on board that story. I think for once, I absolutely agree with you. Well played, sir.
I'm glad that you didn't see the lies behind my eyes that time either.
Oh, I just purposely didn't look at him. I wasn't even looking you in the eye. That's where we're at right now. I remember a time where I could look you in the eye, but not anymore.
Not after today.
No.
We'll go and sit in that room. So, like, Junkrat exists, right? That was your saying all weekend. Junkrat exists. Do these teams know that Junkrat exists? And we said to you, well, don't you think EU teams have tried this? And they did for a week or two until they realized, actually, Junkrat isn't the be-all and end-all answer to tank-based compositions.
Well, the interesting thing, of course, those are the teams that said it. Every NA team came in and said, Junkrat exists. But Junkrat does not exist right now. Fusion has not really trended towards playing him. Of course, I don't think it's Zachary's favorite hero in the world. Meanwhile, what is this?
Magic, my friend. We're about to enlighten you to another style of play that you have not yet seen. I can just envision all of you guys on the plane on the way back just rocking, sucking your thumbs back and forth. Junkrat exists, Junkrat exists, Junkrat exists. That is going to be your motto for life, or at least until the next season of Contenders starts, and then you see quad tank is a thing. I
mean, to a degree, but also, they're not running Junkrats. There is a plan here.
They need you to coach them. You need to go out there and say, guys, you've got to take this seriously now. Our pride is on the line. It's time to go for Junkrat. But you know what? Even they are hopping on this final crazy ride. They're going for it themselves.
You know what? A victory is a victory.
How does this make you feel?
It makes me feel somewhat dirty. It makes me feel unclean. I'm not sure there's a shower strong enough here to wash that away, but we'll worry about those implications later as Fusion University is coming out with a quad take of their own. And they're going straight in!
They're doing it! They're doing the EU strategy of piling in and trying to murder everyone. Craggy is still alive for the time being, but the health bar is below 100. He's about to get popped out, but it's not to be.
And you just see a diva looking at your face going, hiya, but the defensive matrix eventually falls. Craggy laying in the damage. The Bastion was ready. The meat keeps on falling, and Fusion University did not study well in their quad take class.
They absolutely did not. Clearly, they were the ones going on a bit of a roam around during lesson time, you might say, not reading up on their study notes. In this case, you've got to say for any team from EU, they play against a lot of quad tanks. They've got answers to this kind of thing. And so far, it's in the form of a Bastion with that tank formation.
This is how democracy dies, not with the dream, but with the meme. That's what we might be looking at here as the Hurricane very tightly packed around this Bastion.
New policy, Hurricane is president. We'll say shifting the coaches. Every team must play quad tank. Let's see how they can make this work.
They're healing up Craggy as the beam of healing behind him moves into tank. Just pummels Zachary with one shell to the face. And the artillery ride not stopping yet. 4 kills for the Hurricane, and they blow the Fusion away.
Oh, what can I say? That's definitely one way with dealing with what Fusion were throwing at them. They did switch off of that quad tank pretty immediately, back over to the more comfortable full dive, which we've seen coming out of these guys time and time again. I'm dead curious to see how long British Hurricane choose to stay by this pirate ship as Captain Craggy is at the helm.
Captain Craggy, known for running a tight ship, quite literally, very much likes his entire crew around him at all times. The buddy system well in play. However, a self-destruct here if aimed well with a little bit of tank disruption can work, but it would have to be very well because shields are protecting on all ends.
Here they are from above. It's something you're actually going to dive in at all here as well. They're going to jump straight in, but the shadow comes out and Fusions catches everyone. This could be a real melting.
Well, you knock him down and Craggy finishes the job. A great Earth Shatter in from Fusions. This is looking dire for Fusion University. I don't think they took a class in dealing with Omnic Crisis 2.0.
Definitely a crisis of a new variety, it feels, with the Orisa at the helm, with the Bastion following in. The only thing they feel like they're missing really here is the Zen, but they want all that focus healing coming out of the Mercy. They've even got the Valkyrie online, and every single member of Hurricane is on fire right now, bar Crusade, but you can see exactly how this is going.
Early barrier out here for Fusion University, trying to derail the ship, trying to send it to the abyss, and with Bach down early, it's looking good, but Craggy not able to get into the tank. Elk has had enough. Takes him down, the power of sound. Who are you going to dash on through? At Fusion University finally put an end to the piracy in our time.
Clamp down, follow the law, they say, as they come down hard on these miscreants. And British Hurricane look like they're going to switch off now as well. Get Kib going across to the Genji. Going to try and match the competition coming out of Fusion. And I got to say, that hasn't worked out too well historically, but I'm willing to give it a chance.
Well, this is a good change of momentum here for Fusion because British Hurricane, they had to sacrifice most of their ult building to do this full swap up. So this next fight, much more likely to go well in their favor. As Who Are You dives on in. The blade is out. He knows not much to deal with it, but oh, Kim takes him out on the flip side. Who Are You might have gone a little bit too deep. An opportunity for British Hurricane, even as they're very, very low. Fusion was able to finish them off. They lost Beast Halo, and suddenly, momentum swapped the other day. The Hurricane was so close to dead, and yet they're not.
Quite surprised you haven't seen any Widow play coming out of both sides. In fact, the EU guys are coming across to try and match Fusion and say, hey, we'll play your style of play, we'll give you a chance in this one, and we'll see how you fare up against our dive. And it feels like here on Junkertown, ideally enough, the British Hurricane home, they are showing them how to play.
And they're just going to keep this ride on going, and if it's a last ride, it is a good one. 4 minutes and 9 seconds left for the Hurricane. Plenty of time to work with here in Junkertown.
Now going to switch across to the Ana now as well. Those longer sight ranges coming through on the third and final point of Junkertown. Definitely very beneficial to playing on the Ana, but Box for now is going to stick it out on the Zen. They need that Discord orb to burn through the tanks of Fusion University.
British Hurricane looking to continue their momentum here. Fusion University doesn't have too much to work with, but they can just buy a little bit of time for Alarm and move in with the Transcendence. Likely the play they're looking for here. Zachary, no kill whatsoever. Looking for Zen in the back. Can't finish the job. Ends up having the rewind, but Kim down. Despite back and forth. But Bach, he's got to heal back up. The fact that the kill wasn't finished could be big because now he can come in with the Transcendence of his own. Alarm going to use his Transcendence first, but now look to Bach. Does he invest? He does. Both Senya's going to pass into the Iris. This could be good for Fusion here because British Hurricane, I'm not sure if they're ready to set up. Here comes Kib though. Blade out to the other side. Does he have targets here inside? No, he does not. He ends up falling to Who Are You?
Fusion University managed to detract them and still keep hold of several ultimates. They've even got that Nano Blade combo if they wish to make use of it. Beast Halo goes down. This is the time for Who Are You to pull out that Blaze.
Lay it out. Who Are You? Going, I'm tank hunting. Slices through a scientist with a side of Korean War mech, but can't chase it down. Not finishing his plate. Not the heaviest eater as it turns out. The Hurricane gonna get some payload progress as a result.
It was a bit weird because Beast Halo died once again with that primal range. It seems to be becoming a recurring theme throughout this series. We've seen it happen quite a few times now. Zachary managed to pick up Kib as he goes a little bit too deep, and this might just reset Hurricane once again.
Elk again with the beautiful Bionade to the other side. 4 kills for the Fusion University, and they will hold the Hurricane back. Maybe did a little bit of storm prep this time around.
Seems they came with their raincoats and their umbrellas ready to deal with whatever the Hurricane are going to be throwing at them. And it does feel for the Hurricane they're trying to match what Fusion University are throwing at them. When we have to concede, it feels they may have a little bit of a better grasp on what's going on in this whole dive setup, but so much of that it feels like goes down to Elk on the Ana. This guy is a machine. And
he didn't always play like this earlier season. I mean, he was always good, but here on live, he's been great. Meanwhile, Zachary, under assault here, 52 HP, gonna go back, heal on up. Meanwhile, Crusade a little bit deep, Beast Halo pushes him. We're just walking Zachary's adventure here. He's on a ride. Meanwhile, Fusion winning the fight on the other side. Finally, the end destination, a little bit of a stick to Fusions to end the fight.
Managed to keep on getting into the back line here, and it feels like Hurricane aren't necessarily quick enough to adapt and deal with the aggression coming out of Fusion University. Zachary definitely showing up as well. There's been a lot of talk around Who Are You and Alarm, but this guy is on fire alongside the likes of Elk. You can really see this team showing what they're made of here.
Meanwhile, Fusion, they've been able to restabilize. To your point, you look at them here, almost every ult about to be up. You have a Blade from Who Are You got the Transcends from Alarm. British Hurricane, They're pushing the objective now, but you see Beast Hell going off the side, but he's under assault here, has the Primal Rage early. That's a good get, but Bach is already down.
Still trying to find their way back into this point, and Elk has got such a beautiful long sight range here as well. Might have to use the nano boost onto someone to make sure they can hold this point out as Hurricane. Fusions has invested that Primal Rage, but is so close to going down. But we're looking towards that Transcendence, which does not get pulled out to keep him alive, and there is 60 seconds.
Oh, he got the sleep! He tagged him in the back! What a play by Elk! Beast Halo stomps him on right over. We just saw a little bit about that, but that was fantastic. 45 seconds left now in the map.
And they've even got the Blade unavailable, they've got the Transcendence, they've got the Nano Boost, they've got essentially everything except for the Primal Rage on Beast Halo. But Hurricane equally have been stockpiling their own war chest. They have 4 ultimates to bring out. They will not have either of the Primal Rages available just yet in this fight, but it may turn out to be there in the latter stages.
Elk holding in the back, and now he's gonna have to use a snap boost. Zachary's down early, you got compensated. Goes to Who Are You? That's the way compensate. A Nano Blade moving on in with a little bit of explosion on the side. Now, when Zenyatta beats a Genji, and Who Are You goes in, and it's Kim over the top. Gets Who Are You in time, but the push still very disrupted here for the Hurricane.
Yeah, it's looking like it's about to go out of his mech as well, so he won't have that available in this fight if he gets picked off. This might actually be Hurricane turning this one around. Hurricane
desperately fighting here. Both teams moving in, and Fusion still in the mode of stabilization. Hurricane pushing it over, but they have everyone up. They can contest this one last time. And here's the Blade on the other end. Kib moving on in, gets Elk, gets rid of the threat. No sleep dart this time as the Hurricane look to make this fight their own. Kib with a really nice Blade to start off. 3 kills to his name, and the Hurricane finish it off at the very end.
Well, there we go. Now we know what's expected of Fusion Universe. They need to complete to be able to match Hurricane and force this into another round and bring us towards that fabled 5th map. Gotta say, ZP at halftime definitely didn't look like we were gonna go all the way to that 5th map, but with how Fusion have definitely stepped up and started to bring the pain to Hurricane, things are looking a lot closer.
I like to think that Papa Jeff at some point donned a wizard hat and just cast a curse on Fusion and said, "Never will you win a series unless it goes to 5. You will be forever linked with the number 5." It was a big involved ritual, and look, this might be the reality.
Were you present for the ritual? Did you have to donate some of your blood to it, maybe? Just to say it's even the caster curse now. Maybe it's only when you cast them this happens.
I don't want to talk about all the things I had to donate there. I might be down a kidney right now. Why do I do that? I have no idea. I mean, it just said, do you want to be involved in this cool thing this Saturday? Yeah, let's go.
And then you don't remember anything else?
No.
One thing you might remember is if we do get to that 5th map, if Fusion take it away and go back home with the, should we call it the unofficial crown of best team in Contenders?
I think absolutely. I think right now Fusion is definitely woken up. Maybe there was something to the idea perhaps early on where they were getting off of that high where they had won everything and then had to come back up. But we've seen the level of play from Fusion certainly rise up as the series has gone on.
I would love to see here Fusion University really live up to their namesake and be treating life itself as a lesson. Because as it stands, they are essentially mimicking the comp we saw just a second ago out of British Hurricane for that first point. But you know what? Hurricane are matching it like for like. They're bringing out their own Bastion on defense with Kib playing on the Orisa.
What a world we live in. Bastion in 2018. Junkertown never change.
They are clearly taking the word tank a little bit too seriously here when they're picking up this Bastion. It's not quite COD tank, but it is a tank of its own once it transforms into that tank formation.
Look, thematical correctness is still totally fine. You don't have to take everything at literal face value. It's fine.
Well, let's see how they choose to opt this one out. Curious to see what Who Are You will change away to, or if they'll just stick out this Hanzo and they try and go for some combos. I expected to switch away to try and join in with this all-in on the Bastion setup they've opted for so far. And Hurricane have got themselves definitely fortified in here on this high grounds.
And they're just sort of taunting Fusion going, yeah, get back on your cute little ship. We have the cannons here docked port side. See if you can move on in as Craggy letting loose here with that Bastion fire. Gonna reload here in a second, but Beast Halo taking an awful lot of damage there in the moment. We'll see if he can get healed up, but the Fusion University, they're having trouble leaving port.
Still trying to get hold of Zachary as well. It's not the two Bastions trying to face off and find each other. It looks like Zachary's going to get melted down, and Craggy will win this and brings out the tank formation.
Early tank coming up. Zachary might be back in play, but he might wish he wasn't. Staring down the barrel of a tank as Craggy continues to lay it on. Meanwhile, you had a dragon out from Who Are You, a very early dragon, but doesn't do too much as Craggy gets on the other team's payload. Oh, yeah, you earned the right to taunt.
There's no passive healing that's available, I'm afraid, Craggy, but it's still definitely sending a message.
Oh, no.
They're saying, we want this, and Who Are You is all alone at the back.
Battle Bastion versus Hanzo. Hanzo, you don't have your buffs yet. Meanwhile, the Coalescence on the other side just melts down Zachary. The Hurricane playing this Bastion comp way better. Fusion probably about the swap.
All about the dive. It seems to be the go-to answer for Fusion every time they want to win. Kind of say if you're trying to balance up the sort of number of comps we have in the game and who can play them better, it feels like we're slightly in the lead here, ZP.
Right now, the Hurricane are showing great versatility, and the Fusion, in their attempts to mimic it, didn't quite work out as Zachary almost gets deleted by Half-a-Cool. Gonna have to rewind out under pressure, but it buys time for Beast Halo and Who Are You, who dive on into this mass, and Who Are You's immediately dispatched. Didn't work out.
Just spray and hope for the best. It seems to be the answer when everyone is clowning in front of you, just trying to hide you away between those large tank models in the game. And Craggy going super low, finally gets himself dropped.
Payload has been winning this entire time. Zachary just slowly pushing it, panting as he goes. Craggy brought back up there for quick death. Who Are You back into the fray? Dashing in, gameplay, dashing out. Oh, the style on the other side! Gets Craggy with that soft touch pulse bomb. Zachary making the way, pushes the payload, he kills the Bastion, and he flanks the tanks. Let's go!
With no Bastion, there is no big damage coming out of the side of Hurricane here. They might find themselves pushed back.
Oh!
Great dodge for the shutter!
Zachary actually just channeling Ultra Instinct right now, dodging everything. His hair has gone white.
He's definitely popping off, and that's what you want to be able to pull your team through to at least the first point. He's even getting the backline 3 HP and still manages to make it away.
Gets the stick on the other end. This is one of the best rounds of Tracer, like best minute of Tracer you could ask for. What a play by Zachary. Gonna do a little bit more. Fusion looking to point B.
And they finally get themselves there. It would have been a shame if it ended at that first point there, not able to breach through this Bastion setup coming out of Hurricane, but they equally are going to change things back up. They're going back over to Sunbracer.
All right, change-ups are in play. Fusion still alive. A long way to go for this payload. 3 minutes and 20 seconds through second. Zachary, we look to him right now as he has been playing out of his mind. Crack-whacking though, D-Mac, not much you can do about that. Fusion gonna take a little bit of retreat, a reprieve to the payload.
Hovering his way back over, and this is where we start to see the real metal of Fusion being tested, is can they push through into the second point now that Hurricane has changed it up. It's like a gauntlet where you have a different obstacle to face every single time in the form of a different comp, and so far they are making it work.
Who Are You dashing out of the rafters, gets Crusade as Beast Halo goes ape into the backlines, gets a triple kill. Beast Halo coming in style, set up by the rest of his team.
Hurricane getting wiped out there, giving Fusion a lot of time to push forward. They've even got the Transcendence on alarms. They could go for that aggressive transit they wanted to here and force their way into the backline of Hurricane, whereas they don't really have anything to stop this yet. Kib is getting closer to that EMP, but it won't be available at the start of this fight to really shut down University before they get rolling.
Fusion, plenty of uncontested payload here. British Hurricane will have that one attempt. They're gonna move in with the Valkyrie. The self-destruct, hoping it gets one, and it does! It gets Elk! No more valuable person to get off the self-destruct, but Fusion's was too deep. Alarm counters of the Transcend, and a little bit of boom of their own comes in from Fusion as they take the fight right back, and it doesn't matter that they lost Elk. The rest of the team still very powerful in the moment. Half-a-Cool almost getting D-Mac'd, and now he is. Pulse Bomb out, finishes him off as Zachary is in play once more.
Zachary has been popping off on this Tracer, and to be honest, when you think of Tracer players, he's not a name I think of, but definitely showing that he should be considered. And Who Are You reminding us just what he can do with Genji, tearing through most of Hurricane, but there are kills being traded back and forth to each side.
He might be hacked, but he doesn't care. He goes, I can still throw shurikens. This is totally fine. Already at another 21%. Point B has been taken. 3 minutes left for Fusion to bring this to the end.
Can Hurricane hold on here and delay Fusion University, or will we find ourselves going into the overtime and that fabled 5th map?
That would be destiny. That has been Fusion's destiny all Contenders long. Why would we change now?
Living the American dream, you might say in some cases, ZP, but now they find themselves pushing in towards that first corner. That's when we're going to start being the real contest coming through. Who Are You gets hacked, he's incredibly low, but is kept alive by his team.
Zachary with that early pickoff sets the stage for Fusion here, looking for more. Get one support, but why not pick up the pair? On the block right now, needs one more clip, gets him down, and hey, who's gonna be your lifeline, British Hurricane? Because Zachary has shut him down.
Trying to find the way into this one, but it feels for Hurricane, like you say, they're being hard shut down by University, just showing their prowess on these dive-based compositions, and Hurricane really struggling to find their feet so far.
Hurricane has been off target ever since the very beginning. Another pulse bomb by Zachary. Not quite going to connect this time, but look at all the progress Fusion has gone. They're one fight away.
with 2 minutes on the clock, it feels like it could be their time. Box got hold of that Transcendence, so they have the defensive capabilities if required. But Who Are You has just got that blade online, and Elk is getting very close to that nano boost.
Who Are You with the blade early, slices through the tanks. Transcend, gonna ruin his day a little bit. He has to wait. Doesn't go over the pulse bomb, just waiting and waiting, but now he gets to go in, looking to fish out the Baby Diva, dives to the supports, Lucio into sights, and the dive continues to move in from Fusion as the Hurricane is getting blown back.
Nano boosted Tracer, not one of the things I thought I would have seen today, but with how Zachary is performing, I do not blame them at all. They've only got a few meters to go. Fusion might beat out Hurricane here on Junkertown, their own map.
Zachary not gonna cut that pulse bomb, but still has Bach in the sights. Bach gonna fall. Beast Halo finishing off the tanks of Fusion, smothering the Hurricane here. A minute 12 left, and they're gonna have a vastly superior time bank as we go into extra rounds.
We've got to see something special come out of British Hurricane here. I don't want to say it's going to be quad tank, it might be Bastion once again. Just something to hold Fusion at bay because they've got a lot more time in the bank than what Hurricane do on this push. But first and foremost, let's see exactly how Hurricane can make this work, what their answer is on their push. First time round, it went pretty smoothly. It looks like they're going to opt maybe once again for the Bastion, bring it out to the 4, and we saw what that could do last time. It could do quite a lot.
This is a little bit risky, though. I feel like these strategies do not quite have a shelf life that goes beyond one push. Fusion has a better idea of what to expect here and what went wrong the first time, and in fact, they know, British Hurricane knows that Fusion knows, and they might not be trying to go to that same well again.
Possibly. I would like to see them run with Elk on this Ana because we've seen huge biotic grenades out of this guy today, and the best way to shut down a Bastion is once those shields are down, you just slip in a cheeky little biotic grenade, the healing is denied, and he disappears incredibly quickly despite that 300 HP.
That might be just what they're looking for here, and of course, you take a look at the British Hurricane setup, they are going to be going a little bit more standard, where it's still going to be very tank heavy. They'll put half a cool on Hanzo, one of his flex heroes that has been good on the DPS end. Meanwhile, for Fusion University, that's a May.
It's a May. We spoke to a number of teams over the last few days and said, is there any surprises that you've got up your sleeves? The things that you're going to maybe bring out? We won't reveal just yet, but I feel quite safe in saying this. A number of them said May was a consideration for some of their DPS picks. We saw it on Horizon Lunar Colony in the final earlier today.
And look, with Zachary's apparent ability to see the future, as we saw at the beginning of the last map, maybe he can make this May work. Not the easiest thing to do here, but when you're not expecting to get frozen out, this wall can split a team and work against the Bastion here, where the Bastion is up, the dive is coming in, and they got the sleep early on and put the Orisa up! They almost sniped down the Orisa off that wall. That was incredible, but did not quite work out. However, Crusade is down. Elk is more DPS than healer here, but it's Half-a-Cool and Craggy. Well protected, bowing down Fusion. They almost stopped it, but it's not enough.
Almost. Despite both healers going down, Craggy is still managed to stay on the point here, and they're pushing in towards this first point. If they manage to get that, they're in such a great advantage. Zachary is gone. This is going to be Fusion on the stagger, and they can make this work. Craggy is super close to this tank formation too.
3 seconds left with the second point well inside Zachary. Gonna stick on the May.
See if they can push it towards this one. You know there's going to be a contest here, because Fusion know if they stop them here, then it's going to be so difficult for them to push and get through on towards that second point. Otherwise, they're in for a world of hurt. Here comes the tank formation once again.
Tank looking for alarm, takes him right out, right on the side. Oh my goodness.
Won't give up.
He's a man, he's fighting the tank, and he gets him! Oh my god! I don't care if he died there. That was the essence of worth.
Craggy's going to be sitting here now saying, it's not alarm I've got to worry about. That's what he said to us in the interviews. Now I'm worried about Elk. These supports on Fusion University are insane.
Who would have thought that a tank would fear a 60-year-old woman just running at it, just Hunter was like, I got you, and it did. But you look at Zachary. Winter is coming. The blizzard is up. He's looking to just drop this on top of them. Waiting, patience is important. Drops the wall, brings them on the top. That's how you isolate the Bastion here. Craggy, frozen on out. The self-destruct, though, isolates Who Are You. There's the blizzard. This is so smart from Zachary here, and it works out. But for how long?
Not long, it would appear, as they're starting to lose members, but Beast Halo brings down Fusions. They have the res available to bring him back in, but it looks like Alarm's Transcendence is going to be the call to action for Fusion University.
Bionade to the back, your healing's gone. Beast Halo coming back on the other side, looking to finish off Orisa. Here's he gonna do it. Kim still alive. Moira came in last moment, but no, it's not enough. The blade sweeping its way through. Overtime likely to end right here.
Absolutely. Well, it ticks down, and a very valiant effort coming out of the Hurricane, but now we get to see what Fusion University can do. Can Hurricane hold them on that first point like they did for so long with the Bastion set up last time, or do we see them push all the way through and take us into that map 5?
I think no matter what, this is going to end in overtime. That went long enough that even with the time bank advantage, it doesn't amount to that much aside from being a little bit of buffer for a rough start. Either way, this is going to end in overtime at this point. Either a victory for the Fusion, and thus a map 5 for which it seems nothing but destined, or the Hurricane taking the title for EU.
Taking the title of one last ride because they're rocking out with this quad tank once again. It's been Bastion pretty much all maps so far, but this time they're saying if this really is our last defense, we want to do it the EU way, and they're going to bring out that fabled setup. Kid once again on the Roadhog. We saw Craggy playing it a little bit earlier on, and now they're going back to the boy himself who was landing so many great hooks on Ilios.
Why wouldn't you go back to this? Fusion so far has had a real difficulty actually dealing with this in the moment. And thus the Hurricane, they're going to go to the well once more.
I'm curious to see how this stacks up because we spoke quite a lot, especially before the broadcast. We've had a bit of banter back and forth all weekend between all the casters sat outside in one of the other rooms. And we've been saying for the longest time, quad tank, it does not stack up against this level of dive. And there's been a bit of a mix throughout this game so far, throughout the series, where in some cases it's won, in some cases it's lost. This is the final one potentially that matters in this final fight on Junkertown.
And you hear the crowd, they're pumped. They want this to be a Hurricane defense here. We'll see if that's going to be the case as a Fusion now look to move on in, and oh, sneakiness in and around the side. Here come the tanks. Who says tanks can't dive? But Halfical eating a whole lot of damage early on. The D-Mech comes on in, and it's Trades, but Trades quite good for the offense in this position. They're going to be able to run back over. Elk was able to retreat to a very safe position in the back, and Kib is getting flanked on all ends as the Hurricane try and back up and restabilize. They might do just that.
It's very dangerous to just sit in front of those spawn doors because essentially you can have the enemy shooting at you from within them, but they're still fighting this close. They're trying to go for the full hold, again, to burn that clock down as best they can.
And Fusion, they're trying to evict the quad tanks here while still pushing the payload. You see Zachary isn't participating in the fight as much as he would because his goal here is get the payload for it, make the fight change, but he gets caught by a straight fire strike. Hurricane making the stand pretty good, but now who are you with momentum? Dash resets, a blade, and cleanup on the way as Elk sets the stage. Who are you? Knocks it right down.
Going huge. Elkin, who are you? Coming together to show us what they're made of. With 1 minute left on the clock, they finally break that full hold, and they are on the way towards this point. But Craggy has got hold of that Graviton Surge. There is almost signs of that Earth Shadow coming online as well. They have the tools to hold them here, but they've got to do it for 45 seconds.
What cleanup there where you get the Biomade set up and who are you goes, yeah, I'm gonna dash back in, but the fight underway right now. The EMP coming out here in the moment. No, not an EMP, but you see, who are you? Down early on, and the self-destruct on the top. Crackalacken trying to make a little bit of room, and the fight engagement not quite as good for Fusion here in the moment as the Hurricane able to re-solidify here. And the University, they're down there about 15 seconds. The Hurricane on the verge of the EU Championship.
They've got the stagger underway as well. Beast Taylor went down there with 15 seconds on the clock. He will be late to this next fight. He's late to his own graduation. This is an even bigger stagger. The grab surge is huge. It brings down alarm. It brings down who are you? Hurricane may have done it here.
They might have done it, and they
yes,
did!
They have!
That is excitement coming from you, Dez, but well-deserved. The Hurricane take the bragging rights between the regions. They win here on Junkertown, and Fusion, they're no longer best friends with the number 5.
You can't currently see this on camera, but there are tears rolling down ZP's cheeks. All weekend he has said, this is it, we can deal with quad tank, but it turns out it's not quite to be. Well played by the boys on both sides, you have to say. Fusion University in their own right, showing us how dive should be played.
They put on a show, there's no doubt about it, but you're wrong on one thing. What is dead may never die, and I can't cry tears if there's no tears to cry.
Well, you've always got the hope of next time around when we play, and I'm pretty sure respect between these players. They spoke a lot, they've seen a lot of each other in the players' area over the last few days. And to be honest with you, it's so scary seeing some of the talent on this team as well, from both sides, both equally terrifying.
I do have some bad news for you.
What's that then?
Which is that we're a little bit petty on the NA side. We're going to have to take back the box.
You want the box back? Well, we can wait till that's on camera, and I will give it back to you in almost an apology and say at least here's something you can take home because your team's going home empty-handed, bar the NA title, of course.
At least we can bring the box back to where it belongs. That's really the important thing right here. I mean, we're going to take it back anyways, but Now I can be just a little bit spiteful.
You guys need it, I feel, in many ways, because, well, at this point, something again just to get you back on that box and just feel a little bit high and mighty until you're reminded that EU is a thing.
I mean, I'm going to stand on the box and just think dreams of if this match had gone a different way.
I tell you what then, here you go, ZP. This is your prize. You may have back the box.
Excellent. This is what I always wanted here, a box to stand on. We'll return this to Matt, and I will continue feeling sad. But
it can be a trophy of some description for you guys at the very least. Commiserations, but fair play.
Well played. Well, guys, that's going to be about wrapping us up for here, but it was a good competition.
It was good fun. I think we had a bit of laugh, and it's a great way to end out what's been a fantastic weekend as well. Both deserving champions in their own rights, and what's more to say, I'm pretty sure the Dezachu got something to say about that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say that Tridd, you can't think about what to look at here. Going to be a lot of bragging. Oh, also bragging.
Yeah, I can find you some earplugs if you really want earplugs, so make sure you haven't got to listen to this.
I mean, the earplugs would have to kind of gouge out my eardrums because it's going to be loud.
It's never going to be fun. But this guy's got a big mouth, he's got a big heart, he's got a lot of love for Hurricane, a lot of love for Giganti, all the teams that have been here this weekend. What more can you say?
It's been a great competition all around. It's good for EU to get this attention as well. Both regions have played phenomenally well over the course of the season. And at the end, the goal is elevate players, have some good games.
Absolutely, and I look forward to seeing what happens in the next matchup. Again, maybe we start seeing some magic where you guys start playing tank-based competitions. Maybe we switch to playing full dive. Who knows? Time will tell.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps up for us. We're thrown to the desk for some well-earned celebration.
Ngu European, and what that means is it's Zulu for I am European. Because I am, and we just won the show match. What an...
I concede. You guys played well today. British Hurricane were just so fantastic. Here's the tank train coming along.
There we go. We've even got all the players involved. We even have some North American players who've jumped ship as well.
He's originally from Portugal, though, so, you know, still EU at heart. Gray there. Well-deserved victory, guys. Well-deserved.
Absolutely. I'm so happy with this moment, and, you know, it's really, a lot of it's on the fact that EU has come out here. They've shown that they clearly are the dominant European region, the dominant Contenders region when it comes to versus NA. And I'd love to relish in this opportunity a little bit. I can even taste it. It's so palpable. It's so vivid to me that EU have beaten NA. And quite frankly, ZP, where was the Junkrat? Where was it? You said it would happen.
On that though, we've got some highlights and I want to show you, and I'm going to point out something. Every single North American team that we chatted to said, oh, their answer to Quad Tank is Junkrat. I think that the answer to Quad Tank is Elk on Anna, and maybe we should pay some attention to that.
Elk was absolutely fantastic, especially on that Ana. The positioning we saw here, particularly when we were, of course, on Horizon, he just held that defense for them, kept this alive. And we even got to see during Junkertown, he had some great holds, those biotic nades coming in time and again to shut down these pushes from British Hurricane.
Even I can admit Elk was absolutely phenomenal this series. You can see why he's getting all that praise from the North American season, and he really was an MVP and a standout player for Fusion University.
But we do need to focus on the champions, yeah? British Hurricane, what superstars. They bought out Quad Tank because they had a point to prove, and I think that they proved it.
Oh yeah, indeed, and the point was, well, Quad Tank definitely works. NA definitely did forget that Junkrat does exist, but it didn't even matter. Even all the tricks that were thrown at them, British Hurricane just withheld it, right? We had the May coming out, and they were able to weather the blizzard and survive that onto victory.
Hey, when Quad Tank didn't work, they just brought out Captain Kenzie and his pirate ship. Not Captain Kenzie, Captain Craggy and his pirate ship. It was absolutely fantastic, and you know, Junkrat may not have existed, but Sombracer did provide that fantastic defense to Quad Tank. It was standing out, and it was stemming the flow of what is usually an unstoppable force.
Talking about unstoppable forces, I have Happy Cool next to me from British Hurricane. That must, it's the worst question because I know that you're feeling really, really great, but what was it that they couldn't answer other than the Quad Tank?
The only thing they could answer was our Genji Tower thing. I think our Sombra Tower was really good against them, but we want to play Quad Tank just to pro point a lot, like Numbani first want to play Quad Tank because CP's been whining for like a week straight. So,
CP, yeah. You bought this on yourself. It's straight from the mouth of Happy Cool. You bought this one on yourself then.
CP?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he always hates EU. He always thinks EU is the worst region, but I think we proved that EU is just better now.
EU is better until Season 2. Who were your MVPs in your team for this game?
I think I would have to say Craigie, because we were really tired, and he was the one getting the hype up back. We didn't have any energy drinks left, so we were super tired, but he got us all hyped up again. So.
Well done. You are not only the European champions, but you now get to say that you are the Atlantic Showdown champions. You have made the European broadcast team and everyone here in the audience very, very proud. British Hurricane, your Season 1 European champs, and now the champs over North America as well. I'm so sorry, Jamerson and ZP, but I'm going to milk this for as long as I can. This was the Overwatch Contenders Season 1 Finals for Europe and North America. We've seen British Hurricane show their dominance in Europe, and we've seen Fusion University take that North American title. And I'm just going to drop this one more time. The better region as well, of course, winning that show match. It was, of course, British Hurricane from Europe. From myself and every single one of the broadcast team, thank you so much for watching, and we will be back for Season 2. So we'll see you then.